A man clearing out his late mother's kitchen filled 6 boxes in an afternoon, the green glass bowls that had been there since before he was born, the ugly ceramic jar shaped like an animal that held biscuits, a drawer of hand-cranked gadgets nobody had used in 40 years, a shelf of old jars. He put the lot on the drive with a sign saying $5 a box, because a kitchen is the one room in a house where everything is obviously used, obviously old, and obviously worthless. Here's what left on that drive. Good single pieces of jadeite glass sell for upwards of $500, and full sets pass $1,000. The right figural cookie jar has sold for $3,500. A single ball-perfect mason jar in olive amber goes for around $380. That's not a coincidence. None of it became valuable the day someone recognized it. It was always valuable. The value was lost the moment it passed from someone who didn't know what they held to someone who did. And that gap is where almost all the money in old kitchenware lives. Here's the thing about kitchen items specifically, and it's why this room gets cleared out faster and cheaper than any other in the house. Everything in a kitchen was made to be used, so everything in it is worn, stained, chipped, or greasy, and wear reads as damage rather than as age. Nobody displays kitchenware behind glass. Nobody inherits it with reverence, and nobody thinks of a mixing bowl as an antique. On top of that, it comes in enormous volume, so it gets boxed rather than examined. And the honest truth is that most of it really is worth very little, which is exactly what makes the exceptions so easy to lose, because a 50-cent bowl and a $500 bowl sit in the same cupboard, in the same color, doing the same job. To you, it's a kitchen full of old stuff to clear. To a collector, it's a maker, a mark, a color, a pattern, a condition grade, a set of details that decide whether you're holding $1 or 4 figures. The real question isn't whether old kitchen items are worth money. It's why the valuable ones stay so cheap in the owner's hands. And who benefits? The answer: knowledge here sits in very few hands, it's rarely volunteered, and a whole resale economy runs on it. So here are 10 old kitchen items that ordinary people own without knowing they could make them rich in 2026. One warning first, and it matters more than anything else, because in a kitchen, the instinct to clean is overwhelming. Do not scrub, do not bleach, do not put old kitchenware in the dishwasher, and do not strip a seasoned or painted surface. Dishwasher heat and detergent permanently etch old glass into a dull haze and strip the painted patterns off decorated pieces, taking most of the value with them. Bleach and abrasives destroy original paint on gadgets and tins, and the wear that looks like grime is very often the evidence that dates a piece. Wash it gently by hand and identify it before you clean it. The first is the milky green glassware that lived at the back of every cupboard. Jadeite is the opaque mint green kitchen glass made from the 1930s into the 1960s, most famously by Fire King, under Anchor Hocking, and by McKee, and it has become one of the most sought-after vintage collectibles in any kitchen. Common pieces run $30 to $100, but good single pieces are worth upwards of $500, and full sets pass $1,000 depending on the pattern. And a rare Fire King swirl mixing bowl sold recently for $290. The tells are specific and easy. Authentic jadeite carries Fire King and Anchor Hocking branding, along with a Made in USA stamp, and it has a distinctive heavy weight that reproductions never match. Marked pieces beat unmarked ones. And the forms matter, because restaurant ware, canisters with their original lids, and measuring cups sit well above the common mugs and plates. So turn every green bowl upside down and read the base before it goes in a box. The next one is the ugly ceramic animal on top of the fridge. The second is the figural cookie jar, and this is a category where silly and valuable are the same thing. Ceramic cookie jars made from the 1930s through the 50s by McCoy, Hull, American Bisque, Brush Pottery, and Regal are seriously collected, and the rule is blunt: the quirkier the jar, the bigger the payday. Common jars run $50 to $250, but the iconic ones have sold for $500 to $3,000. A Hull Little Red Riding Hood runs $100 to $300, and a rare Brayton Laguna Coachman jar from the release of Pinocchio sold for $3,500 in a red cloak and $1,800 in a green coat, the color variation alone doubling the price. Andy Warhol collected these obsessively, and when his collection went to auction, it sold for a small fortune, which tells you everything about how a silly object becomes serious money. The tells are the maker's mark on the base, the character or figure, and the colorway. So don't judge the jar by how tacky it looks. The tackier it is, the more worth checking. If that surprised you, the next is the drawer nobody has opened in decades. The third is the hand-cranked kitchen gadget, the mechanical egg beaters, choppers, apple peelers, cherry pitters, and butter churns that look like scrap metal in a drawer. Manual egg beaters from the early 20th century are surprisingly collectible, particularly by makers like Dover and Androck, running $30 to $100 with rare models going higher, and complete butter churns with all their parts intact sell for $200 to $500. The value drivers are exactly what you'd never guess. Smooth turning original gears, original paint on the handles, the maker's name, and the patent date, which is often cast right into the metal and dates the piece precisely. Original colorful painted handles matter enormously. The trap is that these get cleaned up, repainted, or stripped of rust, which destroys the original finish collectors pay for. So the more baffling the gadget, the more likely nobody in the house looked it up, and the patent date stamped into it will tell you its age in seconds. The fourth is the jar people use for screws in the garage. The fourth is the antique canning jar and old bottle, where color is everything. Mason jars have been a kitchen staple since the 1850s, and while everyday jars fetch a few dollars, collectors prize the older jars in rare colors: cobalt blue, amber, olive, and unusual greens, along with unusual embossing and original lids, and a ball-perfect mason in olive amber goes for as much as $380. The same logic runs through old bottles, where common examples sell for $10 to $40, while rare ones reach $400 to $1,000 and beyond. The dating tells are physical and reliable. Applied, handmade lips and a Pontil mark on the base indicate the oldest examples, while machine-made uniformity indicates later ones. So hold every old jar up to the light and look at the color, then look at the base and the lip, because an unusual color in an old jar is not a defect, it's the value. The fifth lesson is the one that costs people the most, and in a kitchen, it is the simplest habit in the world: turn it upside down. Almost every valuable piece of kitchenware carries its identity on the bottom, and almost nobody looks, because who checks the base of a mixing bowl? On glass, look for the maker's stamp, Fire King, Anchor Hocking, McKee, and the Made in USA wording. On ceramics, look for the impressed or printed pottery mark and a mold number. On metal gadgets, look for the maker's name and the patent date cast into the frame. On tins, look for the manufacturer and the printed lithography details. And the country of origin wording dates a piece the same way it does in any other category. The reason this matters so much in a kitchen is volume, because you are not examining one object, you are sorting 100. and the only fast way to sort is to flip each one and glance at the base. People price kitchenware on how it looks from the front and never turn it over, handing a marked, dateable piece to a buyer who read the bottom in 2 seconds. So before you box it, before you price it, before you clean it, turn everything upside down. The sixth takes that danger to its most expensive extreme, and it's the piece in the cupboard worth more than the entire rest of the kitchen, lost because kitchens are cleared by the box. Nobody sells a kitchen item, they sell a kitchen, and that is exactly how the valuable piece disappears, because a house clearance dealer offers one round number for everything in the cupboards, or the family puts boxes on the drive at $5 each, and the jadeite canister with its original lid, the rare figural jar, the patented egg beater in original paint, all go out together with the chipped mugs. Estate sales compound it, because the people pricing them need to move everything quickly and often lack the expertise to recognize a mark, which is precisely why dealers shop them. This is where the most people lose the most money, not because the item looked like junk, but because it was disguised inside a fast transaction designed to prevent itemization, and kitchenware is uniquely exposed because it arrives by the cupboard load and everything in it looks equally used. Grief and exhaustion are the picker's best friends, so the rule, plainly: never sell a kitchen by the box, never accept one price for all of it. Photograph every piece including the base, and research each mark separately, because the entire value of a kitchen can sit in one bowl or one jar, nobody turned over. The seventh is the thing people throw away while keeping what was inside it. The seventh is the tin, the box, and the original packaging, and this is the one place where the container beats the contents. Vintage advertising tins, spice tins, coffee tins, biscuit tins, and recipe boxes, especially those carrying the lithographed branding of well-known companies, are collected for their graphic design and brand nostalgia, and country store packaging is a serious field in its own right. Beyond that, original boxes and lids transform the value of everything else in this list, because a jadeite canister with its original lid, a cookie jar with its correct lid, a gadget in its original box, and a set that is still complete all command multiples of the same item alone. The tells are the quality and condition of the lithography, the brand, and whether any original contents or labels survive. So the rule is simple and runs against instinct. Keep the tin, keep the box, keep the lid. Because in kitchenware, the packaging is not rubbish, it's part of the asset. We've covered glass, ceramics, gadgets, jars, and packaging, and the last three pull it together, starting with the appliance on the worktop that turned into design history. The eighth is the vintage small appliance, the heavy-duty stand mixers and chrome appliances that were built to last and are now collected. With a 1950s Sunbeam Mixmaster or a KitchenAid Model K in working order going for $150 to $500, and pastel colors prized above plain white. And this is where condition decides everything across the whole category, because kitchenware was used hard. Chips to a rim or a spout, hairline cracks, worn or faded painted patterns, missing lids, rust and pitting on metal, seized gears, and a cloudy interior on glass each take a serious bite, and on appliances working order matters enormously. Run a fingertip around every rim for chips you can feel but can't see, hold glass to the light for hairlines, and check that every lid is the original and fits. So when you research, do not look at active listings, the items for sale with hopeful asking prices, because anyone can ask any number, and those are fiction. Look at sold listings, what pieces actually changed hands for, and match the exact maker, pattern, color, and condition. Active listings tell you what sellers wish. Sold listings tell you the truth. The ninth is the reissue and the reproduction, the read it twice story running through this whole market. And kitchenware is flooded with it because the popular patterns never stopped being popular. Jadeite has been reproduced extensively, which is exactly why the Fire King and Anchor Hawking marks, the Made in USA stamp, and that distinctive heavyweight matter so much, since modern copies are lighter and the marks are wrong or absent. Cookie jars, gadgets, and tins are all reproduced as decorative reproductions. And the most instructive case is the Collectors Club reissue, because on a pattern like Jewel Tea Autumn Leaf, newer pieces were commissioned by the Collectors Club itself, and separating those from original production changes the value considerably, with the bottom marks and the shape styles being the guide. So a familiar look tells you very little on its own, and the genuine article is judged by the mark, the weight, the quality of the decoration, and the honest wear together, while the modern copy usually looks a touch too clean, too light, and too even. The 10th is the Grail, where every principle compounds and the ceiling disappears, the most extreme version of the central truth, that the value was lost the moment it passed from someone who knew to someone who didn't. At the very top sit the kitchen items that look like nothing in a cupboard. A rare marked jadeite canister or restaurantware set with its original lids, a scarce figural cookie jar in a rare colorway running into the thousands, an early patented gadget in original paint, a rare colored mason jar or an early bottle with a Pontil mark, a complete autumn leaf service from original production, a pastel mixmaster in working order with its bowls. And here's what makes kitchen items genuinely different from every other category. They were designed to be used up and thrown away, so almost none of them survived in good condition, and the ones that did survived by accident at the back of a cupboard, which means the very neglect that made them look worthless is also the reason they still exist. Every lesson converges here: the maker and the mark, the color and the pattern, the completeness and the original lid, the patent date, the honest wear, the warning never to scrub, bleach, or dishwasher it, and the venue, because where you sell matters as much as what you sell. A rare piece sold to a house clearance buyer or a car boot sale or a charity shop is sold to whoever carries it off, while the person who will recognize and pay for it is a specialist dealer in that category or a collector's club that reads marks for a living. So here's the checklist that flips you from the person being collected from to the person who knows. Don't scrub it, don't bleach it, don't dishwasher it, don't repaint or strip anything. Leave every honest sign of use where it is. Turn every single item upside down and read the base, the maker's stamp, the country wording, the patent date, because the front is only the beginning and the bottom is the truth. Keep every lid, tin, and box, and keep sets together. Check rims and gears for damage, and hold glass to the light. Never sell by the box. Research on sold listings, not active ones. And when you've found something real, take it to a specialist, not a passerby. If you recognized even one of these, hit the like button and comment below if you've got an old kitchen item you can't identify, especially a green glass piece or a strange hand-cranked gadget, and I'd be happy to take a look. Subscribe if you want the part of the market the resellers already know and won't share. Because the truth under all 10 is simple. These things were never worthless, even in a kitchen full of things that nearly are. They were built to look like the ones people throw away, and the only thing standing between you and what they're really worth is knowing. That's not a coincidence either.